If abortions are to be carried out on Catholic-owned land up in Elm Park, it will be the first time it's happened on the planet. And let us make clear, we did not fight for repeal for the last 6 years. We did not listen to Matty McGrath for 20 hours the other night in order to be turned away from our own National Maternity Hospital. Now, 2 years ago, Simon Harris and Leo Varadkar thought it was fine and dandy to hand over the National Maternity Hospital to a Catholic order until young people, working class people, until the repeal movement intervened and stopped them. And now we must continue that momentum, because we have to learn the lessons of the whole repeal campaign. While establishment figures were thrust to the top of it at the end, it was us who obviously fought for it all along. And they are far behind where ordinary people are on these issues, especially on abortion. A lot of people have woken up to the fact that we could have gone much further. We didn't have to have legislation with a 14-year jail sentence. If you have your daughter or your sister have an abortion at 13 weeks, that can still happen to you. That's not the kind of legislation that we deserved. But because of trust in establishment figures, that is what happened. And I think it's very important that we learn those lessons. Now, just on this issue, it's clear that we can't place faith in the establishment. There isn't that much sign of enlightenment really on their behalf. They've already backed down, for example, on alternatives to religious instruction in schools. Not religious schools, community schools and ETB schools. They've actually issued a circular under pressure that doesn't have to go ahead. The role traditionally of these parties, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and even Labour too, has been to bow the knees to vested interests. And we have to understand that our movement must prevent that happening, a deal being done behind closed doors. But also it's the mobilisation of working class people who are the majority also, who get shortchanged on health, on housing and on many other issues, which is the force that desires change right across the board, as we saw with the march last week on the housing crisis. So lastly, where do we go from here? I believe a secular society should be possible. It's our democratic right to have one. And we have to fight to secure it. But it won't be possible if we have a society that's fundamentally based on inequality of wealth and opportunity. And that is why for me, as a Socialist Party TD, this key struggle is linked to the overall fight for a real left, for a real socialist government and a change in society. And I would lastly appeal to people, let's make International Women's Day next year a massive demonstration and mobilisation of equality for women in all spheres of life. And I call on people to join in their trade unions, in their students' unions, in your women's or community organisation, for walkouts and stoppages on International Women's Day to say no more violence against women, close the gender pay gap. We want full equality for all people, women, working class people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I know everybody is really tired standing up. But again, it just has to be reiterated how important this campaign is. If people don't know, the Irish Catholic reported yesterday a very important article in the Irish Catholic stated that the Sisters of Charity could not hand over their land for immoral purposes. Now that's very significant, and it was reported from a diocesan PR person. But it's a very important one. Now the next speaker is Denise Roche, who has been waiting a hugely long time from the Irish Women's Council. And we've got one more speaker after that. So Denise, thank you so much for waiting.
Thanks everyone for standing in the rain, so I won't keep you too long. Since the establishment of the NWCI in 1973, we have fought for Ireland's reproductive and maternity services to be designed around the lives and needs of women and girls. Achievement of a women-centred, state-of-the-art National Maternity Hospital is vital, but we continue to be concerned about church involvement in the ownership and direction of the hospital. is illustrative of the fact that we still face serious challenges, both in terms of how we plan for crucial infrastructural projects of this kind and the long-running and contentious relationship between church and state. We believe publicly funded institutions should result in publicly owned and controlled institutions. Women living in Ireland deserve access to the best possible healthcare, and this absolutely must be unfettered by creed or ideology. Throughout 2018, in the lead up to the vote on the 8th Amendment, we heard from women and couples, people speak about their experiences of pregnancy,